Hey everyone, you've caught me at the office. I'm just doing the last touches to this week's video. Before we get started with the video, I just wanted to let you know that there's only one more day to grab a free range sailing t-shirt, hoodie, long sleeve top, v-neck t-shirt. I've put the link on screen now and I'm not going to tell you anymore and we're not going to bother you with this anymore. We're just going to get started with the video. Last week, you saw us sail into Geraldton in the face of some big swells. This week, with a different system developing, we returned to the Abrolhos reefs, 35 miles offshore, to weather the storm. What are you expecting out of today, Duff?
What am I what?
Expecting out of our sail today.
Wind. From there.
From the northeast.
Yeah, so we'll sail out of here and we'll go. We'll head back out to the Abrolhos. It's not what I'm expecting today. I think it's only going to be like between 15 and 20 knots. But then we'll have calms. But then we'll have stronger winds from the north again, and then calms, and then strong winds from the south. But we don't really mind. But we should be able to get good shelter from the waves. The wind doesn't really have a bearing because we're only 2.5 meters wide.
Yep.
So we don't care.
Yep, as long as we're out of the seas and the swell. Alright, so we're off. We're exiting Geraldton, as you saw before. Troy's just hand steering us because at the moment the wind is just slightly aft beam and it's a little bit tricky. The wind steering doesn't like it, even the electronic pilot with the seas, and we're not sure whether we're going to pop the mainsail yet. So at the moment we're just running under headsail, and if we pop the mainsail we might have to pole out, so we're sort of holding back and just seeing what we do. We have to ignore the radio on there. We're just exiting the port, so we've left the radio on. Yeah, but let's see how he's going out there. Oh, you just put the pilot on. Is it going to work? Oh. It was quite exciting to be sailing this fast back to the Abrolhos. The inside of the boat was dry and the distance we had to travel was only 35 nautical miles. Knowing we would be arriving at our destination in only a few more hours, we were both enjoying this fast sail despite the confused seas.
Yeah, lady, put that thing on quick.
Maybe I'll have to let my pilot slip the bucket keeps looking at. I think that fish has proved too big for me.
We rarely slow down to land a fish hooked on our trolling gear when we're sailing, and one of the primary reasons is that pelagic fish often hang around with sharks. We would like to get them away from their company as soon as possible.
fish back. Okay, just stand clear.
Yeah.
Fishing coming.
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful.
In order to get the best flavour and texture out of any tuna we catch, we always bleed the fish really well, cutting through the gill arch and also cutting just back from the pectoral fin.
Not much blood left in this thing. I
Got it out over the side.
yeah, I gaffed it a lot in the neck.
Then we scrub as much slime off the skin as possible prior to filleting before getting it in the refrigerator as soon as we can. One other thing we try to do is return the frame to the sea as close to where we caught the fish as circumstances allow, so that what we don't use goes back into the local food system.
After a very boisterous sail, we were pleased to pick up a mooring in this sheltered location.
Getting the very last of the wasabi out.
The very last bits.
We've got lots more tubes.
Yeah. So I hate leaving stuff behind though. You know that. Oh, look, we've got him
No
now.
one gets left behind.
I don't know about the presentation. I'm not about that.
You're about the flavour.
But I am about quantity. I know this doesn't look like your traditional breakfast, but it's breakfast for us. Yesterday we caught that yellowfin tuna. It still had the stripes on, so it's a juvenile, even though it was a fish this big. So we've got belly here and shoulder here, so it's on two separate plates. And obviously wasabi and soy sauce there. But I'm going to try, I'll have a
Oh, look out.
wasabi there. Put that camera down and get into it before I just demolish it. This is delicious. And it's nice and cold at the moment.
Oh, good. Cold is important.
It's got that nice rainbow sheen on it, eh? That fresh, like you just don't see this when you buy it from the shop.
It's nice. There's no iodine flavour. Like, not iodine. Yeah, there's no rich like iron flavour.
That overpowering iron flavour that, if you don't bleed it properly, then you get that.
It's just got a nice, like, very mild fishy flavour, which is really great.
It's really fresh, huh?
We were expecting some heavy weather over the next couple of days, so we took the opportunity, while it was calm, to get off the boat and stretch our legs.
You're very cute. Aren't you?
I wanted to walk along here to see if we'd see any seals. So I can pretty much sit down and rest now and enjoy this sunset. Look at the light coming through the clouds.
Yeah, and you've got seals and then marul.
They're god clouds. You know how they, in those like brochures, they always
Yeah.
have the sun punching through the
With
clouds.
clouds. Biblical clouds.
Dun, dun, dun. Bit of a crazy old day. We decided to come out here to the Abrolhos Islands and hide behind the reef rather than staying in at land, because Geraldton's very exposed to the north, and this is north where this wind's coming from, so we're hiding in a reef hole. If you have a look at some of this aerial footage that we shot before, you can see that it's really quite sheltered. Now it's predicted to come around to the south, and this wasn't predicted to be as strong winds from the north if we looked at the weather app, but we know from experience that before things go to a westerly and southwesterly change, you can always pretty much count on some northerlies coming to get you. So that's what's happening now. We've got really strong plus 30 knots out there. We're pretty happy in here. Like, all we've got is the fetch inside the reef, but everything that's happening outside is being broken up by the coral, which is great. All we have to do is just periodically go and have a look. We've picked up a mooring here, but we've used one of our nylon mooring lines to connect to the mooring, so we can just adjust the length of it. We can give ourselves more nylon if we want more rubber band effect. We can also just freshen the nip, and what that means is where the nylon's gone around the mooring eye, just change that periodically so it's not the same spot getting all that wear. But this mooring eye is really nice. It's rope with a bit of fabric on there, so I'm not anticipating much friction on there. The conditions themselves are a little bit tough for us. Like you can see out here, it's lots of white caps and everything like that. So the wind's very, very strong, and that means our wind generator's cut out for self-protection, so we're not making any power from that. It's grey skies, so we're not making any solar. And the combination of the strong winds and light rain means that any rain that's coming is going horizontally, so we can't really there goes the wind generator trying to go. So we can't really put up a rain catcher either. So we're a little bit stuffed today, so we're going to be a bit conservative. I think Pasky's just cooking treats.
I'm doing recipe testing.
She's recipe testing and doing some, and putting together the cookbook that people have been asking for, but otherwise, we've got to sort of take it easy and just sit it out at the moment. But it's better to be out here than anywhere else, really. We're bobbing up and down a bit.
In lightning storms, we use our large stainless pot as a Faraday cage to protect our navigation electronics. Maybe 10 years ago, if you'd asked me, I had definite opinions of ways to protect boat systems from lightning strike, but I have since seen modern fiberglass boats with extensive bonding protection still suffer extensive electronics failure during a strike. That is why we use this old and simple way of leaving ourselves with backup navigation information.
Well, I just had to film this. I've got my lovely man in his jocks again, doing boat maintenance, polishing stainless.
That's boat life, baby. This is really living the dream. Doing chores in your jocks.
So that big storm that we had last night, I went out in the heaviest part of the rain, admittedly, which was a bit annoying, and hooked up some hose to our Dodger and just tied in the hose and got probably 2 litres of rainwater. So not that much, but I love rainwater, so I'm excited to drink it.
There must have been a fair bit of water come down then, because you only plug the hose onto one outlet.
That's right.
And that Dodger is about a square metre, so every millimetre of rain is a litre.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so it's more than a litre. It feels like more than a litre, but it's nowhere near a quarter full. So
it was chucking it down.
It really was raining a lot last night, which is a bit unusual. Maybe we'll get more rain now that it's winter, but it's pretty unusual for this part of WA to get much rain. So we were pretty happy to get some rain. And it also cooled things down. It was really muggy yesterday, which is probably why we had those storms.
I guess for anyone that doesn't know, WA
Oh yeah.
is Western Australia.
Yeah.
That's how Australians talk, WA.
So we've got this issue. We want to do voiceovers right now. We've got a whole lot of movies that we've queued up. But the rigging, it makes this music. It's very musical, our rigging, especially whenever there's more than like 10 or 12 knots of wind out there. We just hear this low, droning, humming sound. It's really beautiful. Like, I love listening to it at night when we're going to sleep, but when you're editing and trying to do voiceovers, it's not ideal.
You can really hear it now. I've just put the microphone in the vestibule and you can really hear how loud it is.
So what Troy's trying to do is see if he can dampen the sound. So he's playing around with some ropes up there to see if he can dampen that sound.
I tried to reduce the low humming from the rigging by wrapping our running backstays around the shrouds to change the way the wind hits them, and also, hopefully, to throw off the harmonic.
There's a hum.
There's a light hum above the spreaders, I reckon.
Yep, I agree, but it's nowhere near as loud.
I reckon that's above the spreaders, that light hum we can still hear.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching the video this week. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, really helps us out. And if you haven't subscribed already, that helps us out too. We look forward to joining you next week. Bye for now.